Durant, pace is picked up. The West swinging the ball, looking to set things up for a good portion of that first half. They've come out shooting, change of direction by Wade, and he scores.
Well, they have a lot more isolation one-on-one players, the East does, and I think that's the one way they can get back in this ball game with Derrick Rose and LeBron James, as well as Dwayne Wade going one-on-one, getting into the paint.
Durant, should say Duncan, on that jump shot. And here is James with a beautiful move.
Now this second half starting out with the Miami duo really trying to take over here offensively in transition.
Carmelo Anthony rebounded by LeBron James. Rose whipping by Anthony. Derrick Rose of the Chicago Bulls has given the East an 8-0 run. The lead is down to 5. Bryant is fouled, so Kobe will head to the line.
Seems like there's a moment in every All-Star game where guys kind of pick it up a notch. You know, pride takes over, and I think this is that moment for the East. You're seeing the speed and athleticism of Rose and Wade and LeBron, and it just looks like to me there's a little extra bounce in their step that we didn't see in the first half.
Wade committed the foul. Let's throw it over to Craig.
Well, Marv, the East did go on that 8-0 run, but you will not see Greg Popovich call another timeout. You guys were right. He said he did not see his team get back on defense. He called the timeout, wanted to rip into him for not playing transition defense. But by the time he came to the huddle, he said, I had meddled out a little bit. I realized it was an all-star game. He goes, this is a humbling experience for me. He goes, the last thing the fans want to see me is overcoached.
He wanted to rip into Carmelo and rip into Chris Paul and Kobe. Okay.
Stoudemire's pass broken up and a foul is called. Despite Greg Popovich's great success in his 14 seasons as head coach of the Spurs, this is only his second appearance as an all-star head coach. Bryant called on that foul. He's led the Spurs to 4 NBA championships. And with the departure of Jerry Sloan, Pop, who took over the Spurs in December of 1996, now has the NBA's longest tenure with the same franchise. And you look at Greg's resume, coach of the year only once in 2003, although he is obviously a leading candidate this season, along with, I'd say, Tom Thibodeau of the Bulls. How about Doug Collins turning the Sixers around, Rick Carlisle and now Scott Rivers, Monty Williams,
Nate McMillan, all the injuries that he's done.
But there have been such high expectations for San Antonio as Durant is off the mark, and here comes James. And James all the way. He thought he was fouled as he accelerated, but people expect, as Durant is pummeled from behind by Stoudemire. People expected the Spurs to be good almost every season.
Yeah.
And that happened also, I think, in the case of Phil Jackson, and they do not get the vote for Coach of the Year.
And Jerry Sloan, you talked about, never actually won the award. And that's just the way it goes. The award is usually given to the team that exceeds expectations, that maybe is expected to be
underachieves.
Yeah, or overachieves.
They're overachieves, but they start the season as an underachiever.
Yes, exactly. And I think you're right, Marv. He may win it this year because the Spurs are just off the charts. I mean, I think everyone expected them to win maybe 50 games like they usually do, and they're on pace for about 65. But my favorite moment of the night with Greg Popovich was watching him walk down the steps when he was introduced. Like everything that the All-Star game is about, Greg Popovich is not. I mean, he's so humble. He never wants it to be about him, and he was so uncomfortable during those introductions.
4 minutes in, third quarter. Anthony backs it up on Howard. Nice move by Paul, and surprised both Anthony and Duncan, throwing it back out. And here is Carmelo for 3. He's been way off. James putting behind the back, battling with Paul, throws the alley-oop, and Bryant ahead of the field. LeBron tries to chase down, came up short.
How many times have we seen that with LeBron James? That's a steal by Chris Paul on that chase down.
Bryant for three. Yes!
All right, I've got a vote in the MVP contest. Can I go ahead and just write it in right now?
And you can see LeBron James lurking behind Bryant and gunning for that chase down block, which he has been specializing in throughout his career. Another turnover. It's a 4-on-2. That pass saved by Stoudemire as Wade threw it up in the air.
Well, what I like right here is the Black Mamba staring down his prey. All right, you want to come get this? I got something for you, King. And then this is the old Michael Jordan thing right here. Out of my behind. Nice try, young fella.
Foul committed by Chris Paul. So Amari Stoudemire at the line. Amari, the Knicks' first All-Star starter since Patrick Ewing back in 1992, and he sparked the Knicks to a surprising start, although they have tailed off recently, making it back from arthroscopic surgery on both knees. Aside as a free agent.
I was amazed to read that the only other Knicks besides Amari and Patrick Ewing to ever be voted onto the All-Star team were Walt Frazier, Bob McAdoo, and Earl Monroe. I mean, only 5 players in that storied franchise's history. That's amazing.
Let's go. Rare miss by Bryant, and it's deflected out. It'll be East ball. Kobe now with 30 points. 9 have come in this third quarter. We still have 6.5 to play in the third.
Well, what if the West ends up losing this game? Are we going to see a Beaver here? Getting, with Kobe getting the MVP on the losing side, on the losing team.
Oh, Bryant with a beautiful move. Reggie thinking well ahead here. Here's Wade. We're halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, but he's got 32. I mean, it's almost automatic at this point. Or 35? No.
Duncan keeps it alive. Here's Darren Williams, who just came on, and he hits the three. 95-83. The West on top. Rose with a beautiful move.
Absolutely, the pace has quickened here in this third period. Doc Rivers calls a timeout, gets some substitutes in.
Well, last week when Ray Allen surpassed the three-point record of Reggie Miller, this the scene up in Boston. Ray came over, and then tonight, it's enough. I'm looking for his mom, Flo, and his wife, Shannon, to come over. You guys going to do this every time you see each other?
Every time?
Can't we all just get along marvelous?
It's crunch time. The pace is nonstop. You're tired. You get that timeout, sit down, get as much Gatorade as possible, come back, and you're ready to go.
Back in Los Angeles, where the West leads the East by 10. Ray Allen, one of 4 Boston Celtics here. This is your 10th All-Star game. We were talking yesterday about what this means to you to have been in 10 All-Star games during your illustrious career.
One is amazing. Just being here and seeing all the people that you see and being able to play with all these great players is amazing. And then to say 10, it's an amazing accomplishment. Longevity is the key. Taking care of yourself is the key. But, I'm glad to be doing this job and, enjoying what I've been doing my whole career.
Also here with 3 of your teammates, it must have been a great feeling for you to see all 4 of you get here along with your coaching staff.
Yeah, most definitely, because we definitely needed each other. The coaching staff has been great for us this year, and I rely on Rondo, Paul, KG, Big Baby, Perk, all the guys on my team, Shaq. All those guys got us here, and we're so proud of them just as well.
You broke the 3-point record last week of our colleague Reggie Miller. A big hug from you to Reggie there, and Steve Kerr's very concerned that you're going to hug him all the time now that you see him.
Well, we definitely share a bond, most definitely so. He's always been there in my corner. Not as much when we played against each other, but, since he's retired, he's always had my back, and I've always appreciated him for that.
All right, you're resting up in the fourth quarter to stop Kobe. You've held him to 32 so far.
We got to insert some defense into the game, most definitely, but we got to get back on defense because they're definitely in their style of play right now, the Western Conference style, so we got to insert our style on the game.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you, David.
Back to you, Marv.
I thought it was terrible that David brought up the hug concept again.
Do you guys have a problem with grown men just acknowledging one another? Respectful. Can't we all just get along?
I did want to point out, over the last decade, only